Hi everyone, today I'll be going through 10 Rubik's Clock example solves which would cover my thought string inspection, how to handle lucky cases, and also a variety of flip solving orders. The reason I'm doing 10 of them is because I want to show you guys my thought process for easy scrambles, medium scrambles, and also the really hard scrambles where I basically default to a fixed pin order. So with that being said, let's get into it. The first scramble will be shown at the bottom of the screen and also in the description if you need more time to follow along. So this is the first scramble, and the first thing that sticks out to me is this connected pair. And when the middle gear is connected with any of these gears at the start, it means that you can solve this whole cross face, or actually the whole face, without bottom gear turns. So most of the time I think you're going to see me default to flipping to wherever these pairs are, because turning the bottom gears is much slower than turning top gears because you have to regrip either with your thumb or your pointer finger, and it's just not very convenient. So I'm actually going to start with these two because I always like to start with easier faces, because once I get into the rhythm of a good solve, then it's a bit easier for me to get a good time or to not be as nervous. Whereas if I started with a harder side like this, even though I could plan more of it, I don't think that the planning really matters that much in clock, especially when it's mostly just on the fly recognition and your turning speed. So right now what I will do is I will plan for at least the first match, and I'll always be matching this gear to the top gear from any position. So I can match it here, 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 or here, depending on what's good. I don't like this matchup because it'll require me to turn the bottom gear 6. It's not a very convenient finger trick. This one's a 5, this one's a 3, which is okay, but that also requires me to do a Y2, and Y2s are much slower than doing X2s or even X2Ys or X2Y primes. So I'm actually going to do it from this angle because this is only a 2 move of the bottom gear, and it's also a nice finger trick where I get to do this, which is a bit more accurate for me than doing something like this. So I'll start here and I'll flip here, and during inspection what I like to do is I like to rehearse the flip a bit just so that I don't forget it. So from here I usually go like that a couple times. The first thing I'll do is I'll match these two here, and then this leads into pressing this pin and only completing an extra turn. I'll match these all to here, then I'll solve my cross. Now I'll do the flip so that I end up with this position, and I have to remember that I'm solving all this way because that's where the 12 is. I'll match this one to here first, then I'll match all of these to here, and now it's just standard corners where I follow my pin order unless I see something really good. That's the first scramble. Now onto the second one. This is the second scramble. It doesn't look very good, but I do notice here that I can skip this cross edge. Now it's just a question of if I want to do an X2 or if this would go better from any of these angles. Yeah, I think in a real solve I default to doing an X2 here, but the reason I said that I could skip this cross edge is when I move this gear to connect with this one, I have to press this pin, and I'm moving this 1 to the left or 1 minus, which will cause this gear to also move 1 minus. And after that, I never have to touch these bottom gears again, so this will just stay where it is. So I'll show you what I mean. So when I do this, I've matched these two, and I've also brought this to the solved state. So now I don't have to touch any of these pins anymore, meaning I basically save myself a whole turn. So I'll match these two to here, then these three here, and then since I've already solved this, I can just solve all of these. I'll do my x2 flip. Now I just have to match this here, same as my pin order. Now here I have a bit of a choice. I can actually skip this one too. I would probably still go for this anyways. Whoops. I'll match this here, then I'll match these here, and then all to this. So I've also skipped a corner. And now it's just standard corners. Third scramble. First thing that stands out is this and this. So I can actually connect these two to here. So this is actually a 3-move cross, which is really good. So I'm definitely starting with this. Now it's just where I want to flip. So I'll try each flip. I think I could do flipping like this so that I'm solving on top, so that I don't have to do a 6 plus or 6 minus here. I'll only have to do a 4. So here's the flip a bit more. Okay, so I can start by matching these two to this big block, then match everything and solve the cross. I'll do my flip, and I'll match these two here. I'll match these three here this time, and then match all of these to here. And now since I don't really see, again, any fancy way of solving the corners, I'll default to my regular pin order. And that's the third solve. Now fourth one. Again, I have one of these, this pair, which is really common in clock. So that means I can solve this whole face without using the bottom gears. Now I'm gonna look for a nice place to flip. Kind of like this orientation because I only have to do 2. Yeah, so I'll do that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solve, the other thing I noticed is when I solve this here, I think this is also going to line up here. So it's also gonna be a 3-move cross. The way I track that is I look at the center gear, and I know that this whole block is going to take a +4 to solve, and I'll look at what this does to this piece because I'm going to be using this pin. So this is going to come down 4 spots, which matches with, I think that's the 2 o'clock position. Oh, I was wrong. Well, it's still easy regardless. After I solve the cross, I'm going to flip this way. I'll match. I'll do this one since it's closer, and I'll do this one since it's even closer. So these are all 1 turns. I can easily solve the last cross piece. I don't see any fancy way of solving this, so it's just standard corners. Fifth solve. So this case, I'm probably going to be solving it from this angle first, because when I will move this here, these two will stay the same. So I think this is actually a 4-move cross case. Now it's just where I want to flip, I need to check. I think I'll actually flip this way because these three are quite close to each other, and that means that after I solve this here, then these two will be very fast to solve. So first I'm going to match this one here. Then I'm going to match this to these two. Then I'm going to match this here and finish off the cross. Do my flip. Do the exact same thing here. Now I'll probably pick this one, then this one, then this one. And I'll default to my corner order. Which looks like this. Six scramble. Okay, so I see this, but actually I will do this and I will flip this way because this is only two away from being solved. I think this will actually, I can skip a cross edge here too. When I put this here, that's 5, and this is only 5 away from being solved. Which is quite nice. So I'm going to start with this face. I'll match these two here. Then I'll match these with this. And then I'll finish off the cross. So that was actually a 3-move cross. It's quite nice. I'll do my Y2 X flip or X2 Y flip. Solve this. Then this. I'll actually be solving this first, then this. Because it just flows better for me. And then just normal corners, any order that you feel like. 8th scramble. Okay, so again we have another nice cross here. So I'm definitely going to be starting with this. Now it's just where do I want to flip here. Probably be flipping here so that I can do this one first, then this, because these are all really close together. I don't really need to plan much more than that. All I have to do is remember the flip. So I'll rehearse it a bit. I will match these two here. Then these two, or these three here. Then I'll just finish the cross like this. Do my flip. Oh, now here I have a lucky case. I can actually match these two here instead. And then match all of that here. And now that means that I'll be starting with one of these two corners. I go with this one since it's closer. Then I'll go with this one. Then I'll go with this one. Then I'll just solve this. 9th scramble. This is a really good scramble. This is actually great. This cross will take 3 moves, but it'll also be a total of 4 clicks. When I solve this here, then I'll match these 3 with these 2, and then it'll be 2 clicks away from being solved. So now I just need to look for a nice flip to continue it. I'll actually do an X2 and solve it towards the bottom here because these two are close together when I solve the top gear. So I'll start by matching these two, then these 3 with these 2. I'll solve the cross. I'll do my X2 flip, touch the bottom gear once, and now I can just easily solve this with this, here, here, and then this actually sets me up perfectly to do this gear since I've been moving this gear like that. I'll just default to my pin order. Last solve. This is quite nice. Again, I'm probably going to start with this because I don't have to turn the bottom gear. And I will actually do a flip here because this is only one way from being paired. So it's only one turn of the bottom gear or one click, and then I can solve the rest of the clock without touching the bottom, which is always good. So I know that after I do these two here, this will end up pointing at the 6 o'clock. So it's actually really easy because doing 6s is actually really fast. So I match these here. This at the bottom. Then I can do a 6 really quickly. And I think I was going to do an X to Y. No, I was going to do this. So what happens when I don't rehearse the flip. I sort of forget. I'll match this one here. Match these two here. And I notice I have this block. So I can focus on doing another corner. I'll keep that in mind. That. And I'll probably do this corner first actually because it's just much more convenient than doing this. Then I will solve this corner. And then now it's just this corner left. And the puzzle is solved. So that's all 10 scrambles. As always, leave your questions in the comment section and I'll try my best to get back to them. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions about like the lucky cases, post the number of the scramble and ask the question so that I can go back and look through it. So thank you for watching and see you next time.